Hey guys, today I want to highlight some really helpful tools for Final Cut editors like you and me. These are different from like the plugins reviews or effects reviews I often do on this channel. They're not about like making your videos look cool. It's really about improving your workflow. Most of these are workflow extensions for Final Cut, which means they can be found under this button in your Final Cut UI. All right, let's just dive right into the first one, which is called Font Audition. When you select Font Audition in your extensions menu, you get this pop-up window which shows you sample text with all of the fonts that you have installed on your Mac. You can even type in the exact text you're looking to use in your project and then browse what that wording looks like with all of your different font options. You can see more font options by sliding down the font size, or you can get a really close look if you drag this slider to the right. Once you've found a font that you like, literally you just grab it and drop it over the clip in your project. It drops a compound clip into your project. You can double click it and access that basic title and make any formatting changes to it from there. I love Font Audition because it prevents me from having to scroll endlessly through all of my fonts in Final Cut. It's $10 in the App Store, and in my opinion, it's a great buy and a huge time saver. All right, let's move on to our next workflow extension, which is Audition.io. Audition is a cloud-based media management system that has a ton of functionality and actually integrates with Final Cut Pro. Audition won a Best in Show award at NAB this year. I hung out with the Audition team a lot at NAB, and they are a cool group of people, and I really like their products. So this is my account on the Audition website. Now I have 3 folders in here with media from different projects. What's great is that I can access this media anywhere. I have an internet connection, and if I wanted someone to contribute to this folder and upload clips, say I was working with a freelancer, I could hit this button here for request upload, and I could send that shooter a link to this particular folder and they could upload directly to it. Audition also has this other component called the Audition Accelerator. It's powered by IBM, and from my understanding the way it works, and I'm not like super tech on this, but basically it like chokes everyone else on your internet connection and allows you as the uploader to Audition to get the most speed out of your internet connection. So you can upload media super fast to it. If you're working from home and like your spouse is watching something on Netflix, they might get a little upset with you, might kind of interrupt their streaming experience, but it's very temporary and the accelerator is super fast. Now here over in Final Cut, Audition can be found under the extensions menu. Again, you can see right here are all of my projects, and I can upload through this workflow extension, but I can also download all of these original files right into my Final Cut library. And on top of that, you'll notice this option, original and proxy files. Yes, when you upload media to Audition, it automatically creates proxy files for you for your editing. What a huge time saver. You can download individual files or all of them, and it'll ask you which library you want everything to land in. Or you can create a new library and then just sit back and wait for the downloads to come in. This type of workflow is definitely the future of video editing. All right, let's talk about our next tool, which is actually not a workflow extension, but it is an app that's super helpful and does talk to Final Cut. It is called Lumberjack Builder. Now, Lumberjack is a lot of different tools. It is like a keywording tool for your media. It is a logging tool. But what I think is the best part is sort of this like digital paper edit. You guys, long ago in a land far, far away, before most of you were even born, there was this thing called a paper edit, where as a producer, you would listen to your media on tape and you would transcribe what the people were saying and you would make time code notes, and then you would hand your tapes in like a stack of actual paper to your editor to put everything together. Obviously, most people don't work like that anymore, but there was something to be said for that workflow. But Lumberjack Builder improves upon it and makes it digital. Now, the way this works is that you have, let's say, all of your sound bites in an event in Final Cut. You drag the entire event into this section of the Builder UI and then hit Submit Batch. Lumberjack Builder actually transcribes all of your interviews, which is cool, but that's not the coolest part. Once you've gotten the green circle under status, select a clip and you will see your entire clip has been transcribed over here. The next thing you want to do is click this button to go to the story builder, and this is where the magic happens. Builder has broken up the interview into sentences, and then what you do is you take the sentences in the order in which you want them, and you just drop them over here on the right side of the screen. You can play the clips back so you can hear how they sound when they're stacked together. And then when you're done, you can reorder them as you see fit, play it back and listen again. And once you're happy with how your interview has been rearranged and laid out, just hit this up arrow here in the center of the screen. Choose the library you want this to land into. Under this pop-up window, Lumberjack recommends that you select Keep Both. And look what's happened. I have a project with just those 3 sections of the interview and subtitles included. I will say that the first time I looked at the Lumberjack website, I found it hard to navigate. I felt like their tutorials were not super clear. They were really confusing. And there was no one big video that clearly explained what Lumberjack was for. I actually heard about Lumberjack from a friend, which is why I worked so hard to figure it all out. But if you can get over all that stuff, this workflow is awesome. I love it. So give Lumberjack a chance. They do offer, I think, a 30-day trial, and it's totally worth it. All right, let's move on to our next workflow extension. Speaking of closed captions, it is called Simon Says. Simon Says can be found under the extension button, and there's a few different ways to use it, but my preferred method is just to export a finished video without closed captions and then drop that video file right here into the Simon Says UI. Hit the transcribe button, and the next thing you get is a bill. Simon Says creates closed captions on a pay-per-use basis depending on the length of your finished video, and the cost is pretty nominal. This is a minute-long video, and it's $2 to transcribe it. I think it's a great deal. All right, once the transcription is done, you can double check it to make sure it is accurate, and then hit the share button. Then you can drag and drop either the captions or titles right into your event. And there you go, your finished video with all of your captions perfectly timed. These are regular Final Cut captions that you could go in and modify if you needed to, but why? They're perfectly accurate and they're timed perfectly with my video. I love the Simon Says pay as you go model. They do have like a subscription service that you could do unlimited transcriptions, but I think for most of us, the pay as you go is probably your best option because maybe not every project needs closed captions. It's a great way to mark up the cost of your projects with your clients as an add-on to have these closed captions. And you saw that the price on them was really affordable. If you want more tips like that for maximizing profits in your business, check out my course, Agency Kickstart. I will link to it down below. All right, let's talk about my last pick for my favorite tools for Final Cut, and it is called Xsend Motion. Xsend Motion allows you to take compositions you've created in Final Cut like this one, and then bring them to Motion to add some extra sizzle. I just have to lasso drag all of the elements I want to bring to Motion, hit Option G to create a compound clip, find that compound clip in my browser by hitting Shift F, select it and head on up to File and select Export XML. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Then I'm going to open up my Xsend Motion app, hit the Browse button to find that XML file I just created, and then hit the Continue button, and it automatically opens this new project in Apple Motion. Now, all of the elements from that end screen are now in my Motion project. You may have to do some futzing around. For instance, this color solid background only came in as 1080 when really this project is 4K. So I'm just gonna scale this guy up. And I did notice that my text formatting got a little wonky. So I'm just going to find it in my project pane and clean that up. And now I can take this very static, boring end page and I can add some behaviors to this. I can do some really cool logo animations with this. So this is a great way to rough out your layouts in Final Cut and then ship it on over to Motion to make it more dynamic with some behaviors and other effects. You guys, which one of these tools are you most excited to try? Let me know down in the comments. All of these tools and a lot more can be found on apple.com's Final Cut Pro ecosystem page. So check that out because there's a lot of really cool stuff in there if you've never looked at it before. I picked out some other videos though I know you're going to love. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you again.